Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. There are three things Roland is really good at: 80s style marketing, recycling technology nobody was really interested in the first place, and an unparalleled vintage feel based on retro displays and menu diving. Today we are going to talk about the SH-4d. This brand new yet hard to find multi-engine synth and Groovebox contraption can be considered peak Roland. Direct to VHS sci-fi C-movie design, dumbed down Sandcore architecture, and in spite of having more knobs than Syntakt, a UI that feels like Ronald Reagan is still in charge. At the first glance, the new SH is ticking all the boxes. A generous menu diving hub, inspired by the Jupiter-X, graced by backlit skittles for sequencer control, and playing the instrument chromatically, if you don't mind a missing D flat and an opulent selection of knobs. Sliders for controlling part volume, and oscillator parameters, are nicer than those on its conceptual predecessor, the SH-32, but fewer in numbers. The Sandcore engine found on contemporary Roland synths and the VR simulator for pacification of gear nerds called Cloud allows for 60 total voices of polyphony in 11 different oscillator flavors. 4 greatest hits oscillators with a body shaming option, 3 oscillators plus additional LFO, sync, non-ACB SH-101 and Juno-106. There's frequency/cross and ring modulation, Wavetables, a chord oscillator, etch-a-sketch tone generation, and finally an LA Synthesis-inspired sample player. Speaking of samples, no, you can't load or record your own PCMs. These tones can be shaped further by a digital sounding yet smooth filter with drive and high pass. There are 2 envelopes and the LFO section is easy to use. In contrast to the 4 independent synth parts, the drum section didn't get its own slider. It's presumably sample-based and comes with 2 oscillators per voice and a scaled-down synth engine. Additional parameters of the sound generators like analog feel are managed in a dedicated menu, as is a minimalist modulation matrix. Every part can be sweetened with an EQ, condiments like chorus, delay, and reverb. And there are multi-FX units for parts and the master section. Although the 4D is sold as a synthesizer, the Groovebox is strong with this one. The polyphonic 64-step sequencer Roland tends to put in most of their synths these days offers all the note inputting modes you love since your childhood: motion recording, probability, substeps, and reasonably convenient pattern editing. Arpeggios can be recorded into patterns and the motion feels like a Wii controller that didn't make it through QC. Hidden in the menu structure of the 4D is the OP1-like visual arpeggiator, a selection of sequencing toys we didn't ask for. As we are talking about a Roland synth, it doesn't come as a surprise that you will have to deal with a certain amount of UI jank. Plenty of shift-based keystroke combinations, even for basic operations like record, the most convoluted write functionality of all time, no unquantized sequencing or metronome that I am aware of, no pattern takeover, chaining or reload, no song mode, audio glitches are commonplace. In spite of being based on Zencore, the simplified engines are not compatible with its patch standard, and I frequently messed up sounds because of one thoughtless key press or fader move. Old school multi-track USB streaming makes sense given the single stereo output. The unit is powered using USB or batteries. You can't apply processing to the mix-in, and build quality is a weird mix of plasticky and solid. The Darth Vader-like aesthetics remind me of the Korg drum log, which comes at around the same price. Thanks to Klangfarbe for lending me another instrument from their shop floor. The overall concept of the SH-4d is a strange combination of a 90s Groovebox and a modern digital synthesizer. Does an instrument like this even make sense given the more specialized options? You have already heard the synth in today's intro tune. That's a bit too well behaved for my taste, but certainly gets the job done. Time to find out how it fares as a standalone Groovebox. Although the modern Roland signature sound is obvious, it seems to be a rather dry and scooped take on the subject. The knob-laden interface is helpful, but the ever-changing fader assignments and additional menu diving can be quite a buzzkill. Workflow-wise, the 4D can't hold a candle to contemporary Grooveboxes, but hey, it's marketed as a synth after all. Let's combine it with a specialist for additional drums and sample playback. We are a few firmware updates away from something I would actually want to work with, and the lack of sample import is a serious disadvantage given the small selection of PCMs. I deeply enjoyed working with Zencore instruments like the JD08 or MC101, but the 4D hasn't convinced me yet. I wanna know if we can make it shine in a studio situation and kill it before it lays eggs, or fix it in the marketing worst of all worlds, Synthwave monstrosity. Verdict. Let's assume for a moment that the SH-4d is a great sounding piece of cutting-edge technology optimized for modern workflows, and it is on par with its competitors and whatever plugin host with a keyboard Roland is currently trying to sell. Let's also assume that after hundreds of jams and tracks I used Roland synths in, it is entirely my fault that I'm incapable of getting any sound out of that box that I actually like, which is totally possible. However, it might as well be that the 4D is a soulless and carelessly put together algorithm landfill which ultimately fails to inspire even die-hard Roland fans like me with its counterintuitive workflow and bland overall tone. I think this little rant just annihilated the already slim chance of ever getting my name onto Roland's early access influencer list. A pity given the latest generation of direct-to-bad gear synths. Thanks for watching and see you next time! Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.